Okay, this is the second step, second experiment that I'm doing with the Castor cane. It's basically going to make a clear acrylic pipe into a curved handle. The light does show through it. I'll show that in the finished product. And these are basically the things that I used to do this project. First thing you're going to need an oven that goes up to, I have this one currently set to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not sure what that is in Celsius. For that matter, I'm bumping into counters and countertops. The acrylic pipe, I can put a link to where I got that. I think it was from usplastics.com or something to that like in a notion. This is a inch thick in diameter. I got the 6 foot of it for $20. That was included with shipping and handling in that price, and it's rather good considering what you can do with it as far as the actual effects. Now what we're going to do is stick it in the oven that's already preheated to 400 degrees. So when I start doing this, I'm going to put my camera down and you let that preheat, and then just stick the acrylic pipe in there for about roughly 10 minutes. I had it going for 10 to 15 minutes depending. You don't want to let the PVC pipe get too hot because the pipe will actually start to melt at, I think that temperature is like 316 degrees Fahrenheit when you're raising the oven temperature to 400, but it does take a bit of time for the pipe to actually heat evenly throughout the course of the piping, just because that is a little bit on the thicker side. Alright, I'll go on to step 2 once I've actually got the heating done. See you in 10 minutes. Okay, so it's a little bit noisy in here just because I got the fan in the oven turned on, but that is the acrylic cane that I'm working on for Castor. It is glowing, especially at the angle, and I ended up just skipping the water boiling technique that I started with and just ended up putting it in the oven at 400 degrees. I'll show you how I do that in a sec. Okay, I got the fan back on, so I'm going to have to talk a little bit louder. I'm not putting the oven mitts in there, I'm just showing you how it needs to go. The oven temperature is at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm keeping the camera out of there. But basically, if you go down here, it's kind of hard to see. You want to keep the pipe actually, here, let's go this way. You want to keep the pipe actually off of the grid, though you can really see my reflection more so of the camera angle. You want to keep it off of the cooking racks for as long as possible, because when the plastic is actually heated to the material, or heated at that temperature, you can get a couple of nicks in the plastic, and I actually did that right here, because I had it basically wedged between the oven door and the actually cooking oven there. So there is a little nick right there in the plastic. So this one is going to be mine just because it's had more mistakes, or this was my tester, and that one's going to be the one for Tron that's currently in the oven right now. Right now 2 minutes have passed roughly with keeping these in, and I really do like the handle bases of how it turned out, just because it looks more natural. The light, excuse me, probably shouldn't be doing this while I have the glove in the oven. The light does show through to the end still, just because the acrylic pipe is able to capture the light and how the reflective, just conceal it within the reflective angles of how it's supposed to work. And comes, I want to say 6 inches off the back, which when I'm going to be holding it, this will be in my coat, if anything, so it looks cool. Okay, please ignore my cat as he has been outside and is totally being a baby at the moment. The second thing that you're going to need to do, shush buddy, the second thing that you're going to need to do is put the rod inside of a vise, which this is very precarious to do with my camera. want to say for the cane, the first time I did it, put it in at about 1.5 inches. It doesn't really matter. And then, as you're pulling it back, you slowly want to pull the bar into a 90-degree angle. And as you can tell, as you can see, since the pipe is actually heated evenly, it bent less than 20 seconds of just applying your own natural body force to it. Hello, Buster. What are you doing? Can you say hi to YouTube? Good boy. Okay. But yeah, it's a pretty simple process. The only really, as far as power tools that you really need, is just a simple vice grip. Not sure what type that is, since this is my stepfather's. And then the other thing you want to make sure that you do while turning it is wear heating protection. This pipe itself, roughly, the interior coil must be around 100 to 200, somewhere between, just for the 7 to 10 minutes. I ended up taking it out of the oven at the 7-minute marker, just because you could start to smell the pipe. That's a good indicator of when it's done. And that is not exactly a 90-degree angle, but it's close enough to what you're going to want to use. Alright. I think what this light is on, ready for TronCon. Second thing, if you don't want to let your bar or your piping cool down naturally and you want it over time, just put it in a sink, excuse me, and just run it under cool water, and not cold water. You want to go cool. I know that when you superheat any type of plastic and then put it into like an ice cold water, there could be a direct change in temperature to where the plastic or any material could crack. I know that happens with metal. I know that happens with glass. Not sure if it will happen with this type of plastic, but it's better to avoid it and just keep the stakes out of the way. And that looks like it can go a little bit more, but that's basically the process of what I use.